Another structural element new to HTML5 is the aside element. Use the aside tag to mark up a section of a page that consists of content that is only tangentially related to the page content and which could be considered separate from this content. The element can also be used for typographical effects like pull quotes. Aside sections are often represented as sidebars in printed typography, but on a web page, sidebars are usually a navigation menu and thus are best marked up with the nav tag. Here's an example of an aside tag used here in a list, an archive list with a variety of archived links here, September, August, and July of 2007. An example rendered in the browser would be this aside section that's floated over here to the right. And I'm floating that using our friendly float tag. If we go and view the source code here, you can see that the aside tag here is floated to the right. Width is 20%, so I'm doing a percentage relative width there. 20% of the browser window in this case, since there's no parent container that the aside tag is inside of. Margin and padding are both in M units, so those are relative to the font size. Border is dashed blue, so we can see it over here to the right. Now we come to the figure and legend tags. Use the figure element to associate content with a caption. Use the legend tag for the caption itself. The HTML5 spec says that the figure element can be, and I'm quoting right from the spec, used to annotate illustrations, diagrams, photos, code listings, and more that are referred to from the main content of the document, but that could, without affecting the flow of the document, be moved away from that primary content, for example, to the side of the page, to dedicated pages, or to an appendix. Here is the tags in action. I have a photo of my cat, caption underneath it, and then I have a copyright information underneath that. Notice that that is also in smaller text. I'm using the small tag here. Here is the code. There is the small tag, which, unlike in HTML4, the small tag is defined as a way to represent small type, small print, legalese, describing disclaimers, caveats, legal restrictions, or copyrights. Small print is also sometimes used for attribution. In other cases, this figure tag is similar to the aside element, but notice that here is my image inside of the figure tag, in between the opening and closing figure tags. Here's my legend tag here for the caption itself. In this case, though, in contrast to the aside element that I used previously, this is associated with a picture and provides the caption underneath the picture. Again, looking at this rendered in Firefox 3.5, here is the rendering and how it will look in this particular browser. In summary, the use of generic block div tags and inline span elements is largely discouraged in HTML5. Current versions of HTML4 lack the necessary semantics for describing these parts of a website more specifically, so you need to use them with HTML4. However, HTML5 addresses this issue by introducing new elements covered in the last few movies that represent each of these different sections of a web page, including header, nav, section, article, aside, and footer.